Okay, I'm making this video so that I can help you measure out using your already drawn out duck decoy pattern to create a styrofoam form. So hopefully you can see everything. Ask questions if you can't. Okay, so I'm just going to tip you down so I can show you the paper. Okay, so here's my paper. Remember, we've drawn these out already based on our pictures. All right, so here's our side view, my head, and then my top view, right? Okay, we won't be using the head to make any styrofoam forms because we're going to create them solid and then dig them out or hollow them out and then attach them to the body, okay? So what we're going to need then is to have both the top view and the side view to help us out, okay? So remember, I had my pictures. This one's an American widget, but I had my pictures on my you'll have it on your iPad. I have them on a computer so I could measure them and figure all this out. So the next part is to figure out how these things work. So I'm going to need to know the height, this height here. I'm going to need to know this length, where it's in the body or touching the body onto the water. And then I need to know the tail length too, but not for the styrofoam. Tail length you're only going to need when you start to build it, okay? Because remember, the styrofoam has to be able to slip out the bottom. Okay, so these are things I'm going to measure. So from here to the top of my body is 3.5 inches. So I'm going to put 3 1/2, okay? From one end to the other of the main part of the body, this is 10 inches, okay? Then I also need to know how wide the body will be here. So this is the side I drew. So I'll just measure that, and it's 3 1/4. So 1/2 of this is 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 times 2 is what? 6 1/2. So this full distance from here to here, well, over to the edge, is 6 1/2. Yeah, I don't write so good upside down. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I know those things. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what size of styrofoam is going to have to be. Okay, so remember, my styrofoam needs to be so that it fits inside. These have to be straight up and down. Okay, they cannot curve out, because if I'm pulling it out the bottom, if they curve out or they have clay underneath them, they won't be able to be pulled out. So we don't want that. We want this straight up and down. So I need to know this. I also need to know how far it's going to go underneath the neck here. Like this is going to have to go underneath the neck here, build up, go across here, and then come back down. Okay, so it's going to be sort of that shape. See how it's sort of like a car? Sort of like a car. So here's the front, the hood, the windshield, the top of the car, and here's the back. Okay, so for my duck, it looks sort of like a car. So I need to make the distance from front to back. It needs to be 1 inch for every side that there's clay on, that we're going to remove that, okay? So I'm going to subtract 1 inch for every side there's clay. So there's going to be clay in the front, clay in the back. So it's 10 minus 2, so that's going to be an 8 inch for my styrofoam from front to back. Because say I gave myself a little note, 8 inches. Okay, the next part, this is 3 1/2 tall. Okay, here to here is 3 1/2 tall. So I'm going to only take off 1 inch because there's only going to be clay on the top, not the bottom. The bottom's where it hits the table. Okay, so 3 1/2 minus 1 inch is 2 1/2. So it's 2 1/2 tall. So there's my 2 1/2 tall. Make those down. So I know this is going to be 8 inches by 2 1/2. Okay, next part, I'm going to measure out this for the neck, or I can just build this out in a rectangle and lay it on top of my pattern, and I can start cutting so it fits inside this. The last thing you need to know is how wide this is going to be. It's going to have clay on both of these sides, and this is 6 1/2, so I take off 2, and that makes it 4 1/2 wide. So it's 8 1/2 long, 2 1/2 tall, and then it's 4 1/2 wide. Okay, you can use hot glue to put multiple pieces together, and also tape.